with Mark Robinson, the gubernatorial nominee for the Republicans in North Carolina, now shown to be kind of a hypocrite on some stuff involving porn, how are the Republicans responding? Are they casting him aside? Are they hugging him closer? Well, here is a few of their responses.
I think what's going to happen here is that he deserves a chance to defend himself, Mark Robinson. The charges are beyond unnerving. If they're true, he's unfit to serve for office. If they're not true, he has the best lawsuit in the history of the country for libel.
I've seen these allegations, Jake, and they're concerning allegations. He owes the people of North Carolina.
The Shekels thing was under his name on his Facebook page.
He owes the people of North Carolina more answers about it. But we're talking about the presidential race here that matters to everyone, not just the people in one state.
Look, the allegations are pretty far out there, of course, but I know that allegations aren't necessarily reality. And what I'd say is it's ultimately up to Mark Robinson in North Carolina whether he's going to be their governor and whether he wants to stay in the race.
Do you believe him that those were not his posts?
I don't not believe him. I don't believe him. I just think that you have to let these things sometimes play out in the court of public opinion.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
Yeah, and that notably is exactly how JD Vance would talk about it if it was a Democrat. He'd be like, I don't want to weigh in. I don't butt into things. I think it's ultimately on him and the state, and they'll decide. I don't not believe. Who am I to say? It's so fake. It's so utterly fake. And was that Tom Cotton? Tom Cotton.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, yeah, Jake Tapper has to bust in and be like, no, he said Shekels on his Facebook. It wasn't like a different name. He said it. No. What everybody's really interested in is the presidential election. And again, this is how I would act if it was a Democrat. And Lindsey Graham is like, well, if it turns out to be true, then that means he's not qualified. No, he's already not qualified because he has said on tape absolutely horrendous things, violent and racist and homophobic and anti-Semitic things. This is just more of it. And because it's about porn, it sort of breaks through a little bit more, but he was already unqualified. And I want to give you just one more response before you weigh. And this is Ben Shapiro who tweeted, perhaps the American primary voters should start nominating normies for high office. I don't know, just a thought. By normies, I don't mean people who don't know or care about policy. I mean people who lead normal lives, who don't go to sex parties while locking you down in New York or spend their days trolling porn sites, leaving strange comments or nail powerful politicians just to get ahead. So you see what he's doing there? He's responding to the fact that yet another one of their candidates proved to be a horrendous hypocrite. But it's really a thing of at least both sides, probably more the Democrats. And I know he's been like demonizing trans people while seemingly filling every hard drive he can get his hands on with every ounce of trans porn he can. But Harris had sex with someone. Yeah, she's a woman and she had sex and that's bad in this case. In this one case, it's bad. And that's the same thing really as this hypocrisy. This is why Ben Shapiro never deserves a single ounce of credit for literally anything because he's a dumb, fake, dishonest little liar. That's what he is.
And he's a coward. I mean, he's an utter coward, right? He has been part of the entire grooming, for lack of a better term, of the right-wing base to be as extreme and as psychotic as possible, leading them down this primrose path. And now he's trying to like push it back a little bit and like walk it back. And he has to temper that by saying, oh yeah, or sleeping with someone to get ahead, which if you didn't catch that and John referenced it, is about Vice President Kamala Harris having a consensual relationship with, I believe then Governor Willie Brown. So like it's just like, these are apples to oranges, so ridiculous and also incredibly misogynist and reducing someone to merely the people that she had a relationship, again, a consensual relationship with, versus the fact that she was also the attorney general for the state of California, on and on and on. Meanwhile, you got this guy. Like the idea that going to sex parties and leaving Black Nazi comments on, it's just cowardly. This is him saying, hey, Republicans, maybe we could win a little bit more if we weren't so psychotic. Sorry for making you psychotic, And I guess that's a good thing, John, that even like people like Ben Shapiro see that they are on this sinking ship here. And it's either win and install neo-fascism or change it up a little bit.
Yeah. Look, again, I hate the trying to equalize their vicious, murderous weirdos with a Democrat who supports universal basic income. There's a see. I hate that. Utterly hate that. But remember, the reason that Ben Shapiro can do this is because he's like the purest example of what all of the clones of him were bred in a lab and paid by billionaires to do.
Right.
Bamboozle the dolts with culture war nonsense so that we can have a bigger swimming pool filled with gold coins.
Yep.
And Ben Shapiro knows that. He knows that's who he is and that's what his job is. And he's like, so could we like just dial it back? I know that like our cover story is that we're like super interested in your sex life, and he's a creepy little weirdo. I'm sure that to some extent he's interested in people's sex life. You know, it has to stand in for his lack of satisfaction in his own life history when it comes to that stuff. But he knows that fundamentally it's about the money. And the candidates are just getting so weird that they can't deliver on the tax cuts that they need.
Yep.
And so that's why he can say something like that.
You still have to win.
Yeah, you still have to win. Yeah. And look, and there are some of the Ben Shapiro clones I think might be satisfied in the short term to just be the even purer version for the fans, because that benefits them financially. And maybe at that point, they don't even need the billionaire money anymore. They just suck dry all of these poor saps who actually think that these monsters care about them.